as we now move on to talk about the Pacific Games, where we continued to have some interesting matches, I would say. And the first one we'd like to talk about is, I think now we can finally put the argument to rest, DFM clearly continue to prove to be the strongest Japanese team, really turning around a new leaf as they continue to stay alive. They're still in the tournament.
And they look good, I would say. They look very good. The main thing, like obviously, I've been impressed by their firepower. I think that's obviously like the main talking point. You go like May has a lot of help, firepower stuff. But if you actually like look at their game plans and stuff as well, like they're very smart game plans. Especially when you focus on GE. They played against GE and they picked split, and they kind of said in the interview at the end, like we were confident that their split didn't look that good. And I think I had alluded to it last time on PlatChat that GE maybe have a bit of a fraudulent attack side because they've been playing against Varel and PaperX that like to face them on defense, and you see DFM just play them on defense and they just turtle up. They don't give them anything, and then GE like runs out of time a couple of times. They can't get through chokes. So I just thought the actual like game plans that they come in map by map is like really strong as well.
But by the way, that's a varied game plan too, because when they played split against Full Sense, they actually mixed in a lot more of that aggressive stuff, right? Like they went into a reclear style where they were pushing off barriers sometimes, reclearing the 1-3-1 player over towards a ramp. The ult rounds looked really solid too. I think this is probably top of their map pool, in my opinion, is their split. It looks really solid. It's a bit weird though, because they didn't pick it here. They picked Pearl. But I even thought on Pearl, they actually had some... They were getting hard outskilled in the game on Pearl, in my opinion. Like that was one of those where May wasn't really activating and Full Sense got to rely on just being, I guess, better players in terms of their mechanics.
Sure.
Would be the nicest way of putting it. But I still thought that DFM, halfway through the game on their attack side, realized we are losing every single one of these post plants. We just got to start putting smokes down on the site and taking timings through them. You know, they're still coming up with ideas to be able to... What do you do against an opponent that is shooting you in the head all the time? You try to find timings on them and you rat around inside the smokes, and you like... Yatsuka was taking these like aggro flash timings back into the post plants. They weren't just sitting back and taking aim duels. So yeah, I've been impressed. I think they're looking good. Smart team.
Well, yeah, I think that's a big thing. And I think in the game against Full Sense, you would have thought that, like if you were coming up with the narrative for that game, or certainly of old DFM games, you would have said that the firepower would be a problem, right? That they are just going to get out aimed here, and like you're kind of talking to Josh, like initially that was kind of the problem. I just thought Full Sense, the way that they played their defense sides was like kind of. Like, I personally don't like it. I don't like they were playing for retakes so much in some of these rounds, and I was like if you actually look at Full Sense in this game, I just went through it quickly. They only won one defense round in the entire game that wasn't a retake. That's
it's because they 4-1 stack so much as well, though, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is very readable.
Yeah, I found that crazy, but I thought that DFM, like the fact that DFM, can win this game and particularly Yatsuga in this game, had a very good game. What did he end up going? Plus 21. Like the fact that like Mate does have help, because like last year they would have got out aimed and they would have just lost, even if they did have better game plans and even if Full Sense were doing other stuff. The fact that they can now do this, and I think DFM this whole tournament like haven't done anything like. We've seen some, teams do crazy stuff. We've seen some teams be like very, very kind of, off on their own directions and finding success with it at times as well. They aren't like playing any comps that I think you go like, oh wow, they've completely, reinvented the game here, or they're not even like doing a lot of like crazy waylay stuff that maybe we haven't necessarily seen before either. They're just like very solid, and I feel like they're like a perfect litmus test. Now maybe I'm underrating them there, because obviously they're not actually that far away from making it to Santiago either. So maybe I've underrated them in terms of they're more than a litmus test for teams, because they're, being what I would consider a fairly decent team in Full Sense here, pretty comfortably in the end. But
I think that's somewhat fair though, because I think Pacific at the moment is a region defined by some of the favorites not playing up to expectation. And so being the litmus test right now means that you are holding them to account. This is relevant for their game coming up against T1.
Yeah.
Like T1 are not playing as well as we might have imagined this T1 would be coming into the tournament. Now they're actually coming off a series of some decent wins here, but it doesn't look like super team dominant T1 in my opinion, where they would have, where DFM might have no chance of being able to win. And so I think the litmus test here does make sense, because T1 are actually they're going to have to come into this game and prove that they are a top team deserving of the respect that we were giving them in the offseason based on their roster moves in order to win. So, even they might not be getting the biggest scalps of all time, but they are getting some big wins, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily a phenomenal team that is going to go to Santiago. I think they are still like the barrier that you have to pass.
Right. Yeah. So would you guys say that DFM looks like they're also improving throughout the tournament? Or is this just kind of like okay, now that we've seen the results, they seem to be kind of that gatekeeper team for the top 4, top 3 barrier?
I mean, they're definitely improving. Like they're definitely improving. I think it's just the main thing is kind of what we said earlier, like the flexibility. So it's like a little... They change their style up quite a lot, and I think that's maybe sometimes hard to tell if they are improving, because obviously you can't, if they look completely different week by week, game by game, it's hard to be like it's maybe just game plans that suit them a little better. But I think we're at least thinking they are, because we're getting the confidence in them by watching them. Because first time I watch, I go, firepower, man, this is awesome. Now I'm like, oh, this is a smart team. I think they've got one of the best split. Dude, this was mad that that he went for the fake.
Yeah,
it was sick. I like. I mean, this is a good example. I like the confidence on this team as well. That they're confident guys, and they are big outlaw believers. They're very good at snowballing at the moment as well, which a lot of the teams. I mean, some teams aren't, but a lot of teams are as well. So.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty exciting. Also, obviously, just to see kind of the up-and-coming talent now finally get their chance from Japan, right, in Tier 1, and actually prove themselves from the get-go, like in kickoff, instead of being like, well, maybe they get better throughout the year. So lots to cheer for if you're a fan of DFM and the Japanese scene. All right, then we'll move up to the middle bracket, where DFM versus T1 are not in a do-or-die match, but whoever wins goes to the BO5. Wow! Sliggy breaks the guarantee with a DFM vote. Sliggy, would you like to speak for yourself?
Sure. I think the DFM have just kind of proven on multiple maps that they're like pretty smart and can adapt to the opposite of how the opposition plays. I just think they're very good at the moment. I think they've got one of the best splits in the world, straight up, at least top 5 in the world right now. So I think they've got like a very strong map that they can lean on, and they just show multiple. I mean, they show me everything that I want to see. They show me more consistency than T1. Why would I not go for them?
We've actually just done the fucking opposite. I was thinking about this pick. Like, I picked T1, and I was thinking at the start of the show, why did I pick T1? I think in fact, if you could swap me to DFM, Kurt, because I actually
DFM are the better team right now. The reason I went for the opposite logic.
Faith, man.
Well, yeah, no, it is. It's faith. It's literally I've yoinked Sliggy's shit for Paper X, and I'm just thinking, because but here's the difference in my head. I've seen Paper X be playing quite poorly. I'm unsure about T1. Like I've seen some stuff that I quite like, and I've seen some stuff that I'm unsure about because I feel like their opponents are playing poorly, and so we talked about it earlier. We don't have a good read on T1 right now, and so I think there's more chance that it's just like a close victory for T1, and they do lean into the slightly better version of themselves than Paper X fixing a lot of their potentially larger problems. So, but I would agree with you. I think DFM are on paper favorites. Like, I was amazed when we had 3 T1 picks coming into this.
We don't know.
We don't. Yeah, my logic for T1 would simply be that I think they've also
You're a man of
chosen.
faith, clearly based on your picks of Paper X and T1.
Well, I mean, just throughout the years, I've never wavered. I've never wavered in Valorant.
Yeah,
I've always been a man of faith.
Very true, yeah.
Gone to the Church of RRQ in Nongshim and stayed religious until the end. And finally, you know what?
It's paid off.
It's
Finally, it's paid off.
Yeah, again, just never wrong, just early. I just gotta say. But with T1, I think they've also done the DRX where they found what works for them, which is a little bit more of the just looser deathball-y style. A little bit full sense, you could say, right? A little bit heavier stacks. Go for the trades instead of wanting to do the whole Munchkin macro and fake them out and push and pull. It looks like they've simplified their game plan a bit. And in that, if they do that, I think not a landslide, but I do think their player caliber can take the win, like in a close match against DFM. So that's why I went with T1 on this one. But
Yeah.
Okay, 50-50 it is. All right. So close matches. I mean, this is a good bracket
they're
that we got.
Yep.
Yeah,
This is great
close
matches.
matches.
I mean,
Yeah.
you'd fucking hope so at this point.
Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
Guns at this point. Like, what have we done? What are we doing?